I'm able. It's really late, and I just finished reading 3 Days of Happiness, based on a recommendation from someone in my Discord server, and a really supportive viewer of the channel and my stuff, and I appreciate them. Um, and I have a lot to say about it, despite it being extremely late. I have a lot to say because I think that might be my new favorite book I've ever read. Um, and I don't take that lightly. I mean, I'm not an extremely avid reader. I think I need to start from the beginning. So, a contextual. I've been trying to make it a mission, a purpose of mine to become a reader. I've, for years, it's been like maybe like at least like probably 4 years. I've been trying to read more stuff, and I've been this decision's actually been good for me. I've learned a lot from reading stuff. I've been learning, and I've been like feeling like my life is better because of the stuff I learned from analyzing text and really thinking about it. You could watch TV, you could watch movies, you could watch listen to music, but so it's different medium wise than reading a book. Um, and specifically, I've been trying to get into Japanese literature. I mean, I've been doing a iffy job on that. I did read most of Kafka on the Shore. Okay, I'm an expert at Japanese literature now. Okay, I'm a supreme expert. But yeah, I've just been trying to experience more literature in all forms. I mostly self-help books, not self-help books, like writing stuff and like informational stuff, and sometimes with biographies. I really prefer nonfiction to fiction, because fiction has like this. There's like a lot of like fiction to choose from that's like really famous and like a lot of depth and like a lot of stuff to analyze there. So it's kind of like with nonfiction, it's pretty like simple reading. Like with a lot of fiction, my main issue is that it's a very dense reading, and I think that's why I kind of gravitated towards modern Japanese fiction, because all the stuff that I've read from there is actually pretty easy to read. Like most of the stuff that's complex is symbolism and thematic and stuff, mostly just like based on cultural things. But it's mostly just relatable, and the language itself isn't too harsh. Maybe some of the references to stuff is opaque, but whatever. Um, and life context, which is important in this case, because if you know me, which you don't, I'm presumably just a content machine to most of the people who would view this video, right? Just like a fucking meme channel. I still think that, despite everything. I view art as like, I view it very deeply. I think it's like the most important thing that we have as humans. Like, it's really just like the the quintessential human experience to make art. Like, you go to work to survive, and then you absorb and make art, and then contribute to the greater art perspective. I don't know. It's just how I feel on the inside. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a gut feeling. It's my main beliefs, like in the depth of my soul, that art is the most important thing we have as humans. The form of expression and creativity we have. It's literally like in my fucking bones, dude. But so whenever I see a great piece of art, I really just gotta appreciate it, because that's literally like my life force. Like, it's my purpose for existing. How seeing good art and really engaging with it, and seeing, making it if I can, and just like it's all everything related to that. Um, so if anytime I get a recommendation for something and someone's like really passionate about it, I always have to take it, because I always have to like do my best to see it, because people, like, whenever they have an emotional attachment to something, I'm like, okay, I fuck with this person. They have an emotional attachment. That means I'll probably like it too, right? I'll probably say that shit is like insane. Like, it made me feel something, and I'm like, yeah, I love feeling things due to art. That's my prerogative. That's my fucking my main thing. So yeah, when this person, I'm not sure I should name names. 'Cause I don't know. I just keep it vague, and if they're probably in the comments, and if they're in the comments, I'll say hi, I guess. Tell them to have a nice day. But yeah, then this person told me about this, like, oh yeah, what's your favorite shit? I ask that question all the time because I really just like, whenever I want to absorb art, I'm like, okay, what? Because I mean, I think related to like the book, I think I get scared of thinking how much stuff we have time to consume, like as a person. Like you're gonna die eventually, so how much stuff you consume, and I think really curating it and making it like the best you can, like the absolute stuff you'll enjoy the most, not necessarily will be the best critically or whatever, but you'll enjoy the most, is just what I usually like doing, So I usually ask people, what's your favorite movies, what's your favorite books, what's your favorite shit, so I could at the very least find some good shit, quality stuff, emotional attachment, and if nothing else, engage with the person and be like, oh, I read that shit, because making friends is important. um, and now, speaking of that, life context. So this book came at a specific time, because I think this person recommended me this book like months ago, right? But I haven't had the time because I've been really fucking busy. My life has been changing rapidly, over like it's only like couple months. Like I've been like really transforming as a person, my circumstances, all this shit, and I'm sure it's gonna happen more because I hope it happens more, and I kind of don't. I kind of want this stabilize, and I kind of want to experience more things. It's kind of iffy, but mostly it's like I'm moving. Yeah, I moved, and it's a big thing for me. I'm not a moving type of person. It's switched a bunch of fucking things I've been doing. I've been trying to, get grips on a lot of things related to life. It's not like I don't have kids or anything, right? But still, I'm just trying to make my shit together, right? So, I'm trying to adjust to that. And I've had anyone who's been talking to me like, yeah, I mean, I've been like fucking hiding away from everybody. I really just like being the hermit. I don't know why. Just like this really, I don't like it. It's just like a thing that I do. That I just like have this thing where I feel like a burden. I don't want to talk to anybody, but that gives me more time to get obsessed with art and be crazy and get fucking thinged over it. So since I'm like in between fucking things, in between fucking jobs right now, right? I had a little bit of time on my hands, and I've been reading a lot of books. I've been at least read like two. I like shorter books. I can just read those in maybe like a week, or like I read this book in like a day and a half. I love this book so much that it's like 100. It's like I'm pretty sure it's like a fucking novel. It's literally just a novel worth of pages. I've never read something so fast in my goddamn life, but I could not put it down. I don't even know if it's that long of a book. I read it on a Kindle, so I think the page sizes are like smaller or whatever, or the page sizes are smaller, so it might inflate the count. But still, I've never read like this much. I've never read an entire book in like a day or two. So I need to be started on the review. Enough context, enough stuff. So this book is called 3 Days of Happiness. 3 Days of Happiness. Write that down because you gotta read it. I don't know what else to say. I didn't read the manga. I didn't read the thing. I read the light novel, I think, or just the novel version. I don't know if it's in like, yeah, it's the novel. Okay, it's just a novel. I read an entire novel. I was going in here under the assumption that it was a light novel. Like, okay, it's like a little novel. No, when I was going through like the bigger chunk of the book, when I was just sitting down and just saying, all right, I'm gonna finish this book tonight. I want to talk about it. I really feel really passionate about this shit. I was like, I have to do it. It felt like a novel. It felt really like they really had their stuff written down. They have their stuff chunked. I don't know how to start a review like this. So I'm just gonna say, this is probably meant for people who read this because I'm not gonna be spoiling, as I'm trying to spoil stuff because I know people don't read. I'm under the impression people don't give a fuck about reading. I know it, and it breaks my heart because this actually shit like this actually makes me like want to cry, and it gives me fucking goosebumps. But yeah, I'm not gonna try to. I'm trying not to spoil it because I know someone's gonna. It's probably gonna be anime adaptation or something. You can just watch that, I guess. But it's just I don't know. It's gonna hit so much different when you just have to imagine all this shit. It's just like yeah. Okay, so the book is basically yeah. So this dude who it's named what's his name? I'm horrible with names. Kusanoki. Kusanoki. I'm gonna call him yeah. Kuso. I'm calling him Kuso. This dude named Kuso. He's basically just like down on his luck. Pretty much the shittiest life you could have. I mean, he's going to college, but other than that, he's like the shitty job. He's the brokest motherfucker of all time. Like he literally has like 3 possessions. Like I don't even think he has a lamp, and then he has to go and sell all this shit. And you know, he's just going, and he has no like future plans. He looks at his past constantly, and he even like has like it's just rough for him. Terrible parents, really no connections with any humans beings at all. And he goes to this bookstore, right? And the owner or the clerk at the bookstore tells him about this place. He's like, yeah, you can sell your lifespan. You could sell your life for money. And this other guy, he goes to the CD store, sells CDs. What a tragedy. I hope he has an iPod. You can say, oh, you can sell your stuff for money. You can sell your life for money. And they go through this, and at first he's like, yeah, sure, okay, because, he's kind of like, okay, I need to get back to doing my stuff. He's like, he's working to make his way through college, right? So he's really trying to, he's like off of work because he like got injury. So he has a little bit of time to spare. So he's like, oh, I can't be wasting my time too much, but I can check this out. I got a second. So he goes to this place and he sees this room and he goes inside. He's like, is this where you sell your lifespan? And he's like, yeah. This lady at the class, this lady at the desk who's like stated to be like around his age, I think 18 to 24, and then they change it later to like around his age was 19 to 20. They she basically is this sharply dressed woman who's like on the thing, and they're like, yeah, you can sell your fucking life here. Don't say it like that. You can sell your life here, right? And he's like, okay, how much? I want a consultation. How much is my life worth? And they have these flashbacks in the past. I don't want to give it all away. I just want to give like the basic, maybe like the first few like chapters thing. And this lady's name is Miyagi, right? And she tells him, well, first of all, like, he has this flashback in his past. Like when he was a kid, there's like a lot of stuff about when he was a kid, specifically his relationship with this like girl, whatever her name was. He has this childhood friend that he like obsesses over and cannot stop thinking about obsessively. He like his entire past, his entire life force is housed on this relationship, his imaginary relationship, possibly getting back together with this one woman. His hopes and dreams are all like founded on that deck of cards, and they have this flashback of what he considered his life to be worth, which is like really fucking like the businessman, thing where it's like, oh yeah, it's like average thing a businessman would make, right? Over his lifetime. And then he gets the actual consultation and it's fucking like 300,000 yen. And I converted that and I was like in shock. I was like, oh, 300,000 yen, that's probably that's like a good amount of money. You could do some things with that. You could fly a few places. I'm like, no. It's like $2,000. It's like 2,000 and like $2,900. I'm like, oh, holy shit. When I looked that up, I read it, like I read another chapter before I looked that up, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually really depressing. Because I thought $300,000 was like okay, I mean like that's pretty low, but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty low, but it's fine. I'm like, You know, you can separate with your life force from that, right? You can do some shit with that, but $3,000 is like, that's just like, God, man. So, but the thing is, yeah, he really just has absolutely no look for the future. So he goes and sells his life, and the main plot is when he goes home, he's like, you know what, fuck this shit. He's like, he doesn't regret it. He's like, you know what, whatever. He's just so neutral on everything. He's just so done with it all. So in this moment of um malaise, I think, just like in this really just, oh, like he just doesn't have any hope. He's hopeless, like in the most doomer sense. He has no hope. Um, he goes back to his house, goes to bed, gets drunk, and he's like, he wakes up with a hangover, and he's like, oh shit, I just sold my life. Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. Who gives a shit? And the lady he met at the thing knocks on the door, and she's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be your monitor. And that's where the main plot of the story starts, where Miyagi is Kuso's monitor. The entire plot hinges on this kind of like thing on them, which is kind of strange to me at first, because I don't know. I think that you should really just like read it first. Stop it now and read it first. But then again, like no matter what, there's always gonna be that person who's like, no, I'm just gonna keep watching videos or whatever. You know, you really can't help some people. I don't really care about the fucking watch. I just want someone to read. I just want someone to read this because I'm about to cry thinking about it. It's really just, yeah. I think the main plot line is just seeing how, you know, these two, their pair, like their relationship like develops. You know, they're like, it goes from like complete like antagonism, like fucking they hate each other, to being like they're kind of neutral, like yeah, you know, it's like, you know, because, and then he's like, yeah, it's whatever, and then it becomes like, okay, you know what, you kind of get where I'm going. It's like it's a very natural circumstance for such a like wild thing. It's not the wild thing like you're gonna die, right? That's not like that's the most like universal human thing, right? But like the circumstances involved. The thing I noticed, there's like a lot of things I could talk about here. I think the main thing is that I really want to say that this came at the right time. I think some books come at the right time, some media art comes at the right time for you, and this came at the right time because a lot of those stuff it asks, and especially like the, you know, the age of the dude, you know, where like he's just the whole like him just like sometimes you just feel fucking hopeless. That's the main thing. I think that's like a very universal human thing. Throughout the story, they keep telling about his future and how like, because whenever you sell your life force, you kind of can ask like, oh yeah, how is my future gonna be? And then like, you know, that's and whatever her name was, what is her name again? And Miyagi tells him like, yeah, your future was gonna suck. You were gonna have no happiness. You were gonna literally die alone and unloved. So you really just had really no purpose of living anyway. He's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he's like, I don't know. The thing about this book is that it has continuous like, it just keeps slamming him with this absolute like heart wrench. It's like he just can't get a break. He doesn't like, it's not even like he like has this like breakdown where he's just like, he's angry at the world. He's just all done with it. But it's like this like slow build up in the middle of your stomach where it's like, you know, he just keeps getting like these, like something that would break a lesser man would, I mean, he's already gonna die anyway, so he's just kind of like, he can use that as his like, yeah, you know what, no matter what the fuck happens, I'm gonna die anyway, so it's whatever, you know. And a lot of this is just like him in a way coping, but it's not even like him coping because he didn't have this like issue with like death, right? His reactions are still very human, It's just like human in a way you wouldn't expect. It's more of like, well, most of the time he's just trying to find ways to like kill time. It's like, well, if I can die in 3 months, well, yeah, it's a long time. Let me see. And most of the time they're just like, the reason that like him and Miyagi, they're like the relationship kind of like comes together, like they become like friends, right? Because they're just like, I gotta go off my bucket list. We have time to waste. Let's shoot the shit. What's going on with you? You just ask whatever questions. And it's like, it's just comes together very naturally. I really like appreciate that. But the main thing about it is like the various things whenever he starts dying, he starts trying to like grasp at these human connections, and it becomes like, that's what I mean by like the parts where it just like gut punches you, right? Because these all fall apart, and they're not even like falling apart in like a way that's like, like, oh, it didn't work out, it's fine, neutral. It's more of like, wow, I think I've never had a genuine human connection my entire life, and I'm going to die alone. Like, that's absolutely, the way it does is fucking heartbreaking. Absolutely fucking heartbreaking. Absolutely fucking heartbreaking. And the main thing about it is that, like, I don't even want to, that part, there's like one part of the story where it's like probably the like climax in a way, where it's like this super, like, I don't even want to talk about it. There's this one part where it's like everything he pinned all of his hopes on is crushed in like a single like night. And it's I have no idea how they made that hit so hard, to the point where it's like, God, I don't even know how to, there's a point where it's like empathy and sympathy, and it's like, I don't even want to feel the way he feels at that point. It's like I don't even know, man. The way this book really just like turns left and right, and really just like trails you with it, like the emotional state, because it's not even like it has like a up and down climax or anything. Like, oh yeah, this is like a obvious point where it's like everything goes. It's more of just like a continual like march to like the end, even though it's like not even like, I think this book has ups and downs, not like quality wise. I think it's continuous, like, I can't even put a number on it. I would put continuous, like, I don't know, just high quality all around. You really just like have his emotional state down. You like are invested. You really are like interested in like his whole journey, and it's like short enough where you could really just like realistically just like read it in a couple days, and you can just like keep that momentum. I like that. I think the main thing about this book is that it has the emotional weight, of like 1,000 trucks. And like the reason it has that is because it really gets into like hopelessness as an emotion, and hope. It really kind of like deals with a lot of themes like life and death, emotion, emotional states in general, human connections, hopelessness and hope. A lot of that, art, the nature of art and why people make it. Death, obviously, is a very major theme. Love is a theme. I think codependence, is kind of a minor theme in there too. Like why Kuso has this like obsession with his childhood friend is mostly just like him grasping desperately onto a memory of caring about someone and having them care back. It's like insanely, like, it's just extremely like desperate, and like it's scratching on the wall. It's like, that's what makes it so sad. About, I think what makes like a lot of the moments are like really sad, because they're always like having that desperate human moment where it's like this guy has like literally nothing to crawl to. His parents don't love him. He has no connection with anybody. Everyone he talks to like literally fucking just like hates him. Absolutely fucking hates him. And it's just that, seeing that over and over again. And it's not even, and he has like these very just like I don't know. he's not even like a bad person. He just has like these, because he's just anyone who was in the situation would have these like some of these thoughts, you know. And he has a lot of questions about like stuff. I think the most, I don't know. It's I have a lot of thoughts. Okay, the main thing I want to talk about is that, you know, the there's like a very the way they write very small moments really just touched me. And I think that's like the main thing about it, where like even the smallest moments you can kind of feel it. There's the parts in the later part of the book where you know, Kuso and Miyagi are just hanging out, and you know, Kuso's just getting like, he's kind of done with his bucket list. He's just like, I don't really give a shit about anything anymore. You know, you want to just chill. He just like tries to find meaning in like very small things. Like for instance, there's this part in the end of the, like not the end, but like middle of the book where he just wants to take pictures of like vending machines. You know, I don't know why. I found that really beautiful because it's like, and it sounds fucking pretentious, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's like, that's really, but it is. And I think it's like really just, it's like a very human thing to do. Um, I think, what's it called? My favorite movie of all time. At least one of my, I think it has similar things to this. What's it called? It's Such a Beautiful Day. It reminds me of a lot of that because, again, in that movie, there's like this one part where the main character, like Bill, like he's told like he's gonna die, and he has, because his brain is gonna fucking like malfunction, and he just rubs his head, and he's just like, he just silently just rubs his head and just thinks about it. Like, cause, you know, not everyone could have this dramatic outburst about like death. I think the main thing about like dealing with it is like the quiet. You know, it's not even like, I think that's the main thing about even dealing with it. Like after someone else dies, you know, just grieving. Mostly just like a quiet, you know, like sob. You know, you're just kind of like trying to move on with your life. You kind of like have these memories of someone you care about infest your mind. And in this case, it's like Kuso's memories they're not of memories, they're like of like thoughts of a life that didn't go in this way. But they're also of like, you know, him trying to grasp at whatever straws are left. I think the main thing about this book is just like, he keeps trying to grasp at whatever straws are left and keeps getting shot down. But he keeps making it work because it's like hope, you know. And I want to say it. Whenever they have Kuso and Miyagi, they have their friendship blossoms into a very natural and very well written relationship where they just like genuinely, absolutely fucking just love each other because they have nobody else to love. It's like codependence, but it's like in a way that's like, I don't know. It's like they're out of options, but they're fine with it. They like genuinely just like love and adore each other. And, you know, he does it despite like, because they have this weird system where she's not able to be seen. Like Miyagi's not able to be seen by anyone. So he just like, you know, he's willing to be like taken as a fucking crazy man because he's like, shit, I'm gonna die anyway. I might as well die talking to someone who I think is cool, right? Because he doesn't give. He always had this like very nihilistic view in the world. He didn't really give a shit about anyone else. You know, his like childhood memories are about him just being an outcast and, you know, being bullied as a kid and then kind of like being forgotten. So it's kind of like finally someone who like unconditionally, genuinely fucking like appreciates me and loves me. That's a theme. Like, I know that's a universal theme. Having like, I think that's the main thing about like love, right? I don't know if we're talking about love. It's kind of like awkward because like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. Yes, maybe it's on me, but I don't know. Something about that, like there's like comfort in someone else, even in like a time where you're just like have absolutely nothing to basically live for. Like this dude is like basically just like he has like literally nothing else. So he's taking a picture of vending machines. That's like to the point where he's like, you know, I have literally nothing else to do. I might as well just go do something and have simple joy. I think that's the main thing about it, you know. There's a lot to unpack here, a lot to like salvage. The little moments, and the way to describe all the little moments, like they go to the fireworks festival together, right? And it really feels like this magical moment because he has these new emotions towards somebody that he never felt before. He's literally have never had a human connection before this. There has never been a time, and the human connection he had before was like a long, long time ago, to the point where it's like, is it shallow? Is it depthful? If they meet up again, will it happen? I don't know. It's not really the main thing. It's like, it's just him. I think I don't know. I think there's a lot of like, a lot of depth here. Tonally, I think the book just really just like nails its shifts, because it has, honestly, it doesn't have like any lighthearted moments, but it doesn't have like, all the moments come with like a heavy dose of melancholy, because like obviously death is like a melancholic thing to have, right? Like, okay, that's in the background, right? Some Edgar Allan Poe shit, having like death be as like the backdrop of this entire book is gonna be like, okay, if something good happens, he's gonna die. If something bad happens, well, it's gonna die. So it's like you can never have like the complete, like I think there's like I think the main thing is like he's trying to avoid the whole life's a bitch and then you die. He's trying to avoid like having he's not trying to avoid, but I think like I think that a lot of that is like he's trying to avoid having that complete just like rejection of everything, every human connection before his death. He goes back and forth between like, trying to do it, trying to have connections to whoever's left, and trying to like forget about it all and just like come to peace with, being isolated and being alone. And, I mean, I think the thing about this is that it really gives you the view on time, because this book simultaneously makes 3 months look like nothing and makes it look like everything, because obviously covers every single day as its own day, but it's not enough time, because he's like, I won't see the winter, I won't be able to do these things, I won't be able to do that thing, and I don't think he ever once considers buying more time. And I found that interesting, because they said they said like, okay, you could buy and sell time 2 more times, right? And they kind of do that like as a Chekhov's gun. I think they do something with that later on, but that he never buys more time. And I didn't, in the back of my mind, I'm like, is he gonna get desperate and buy more time and not be able to do it because he's poor? He's fucking broke as hell. But never went with that, and I'm kind of like shocked, and I'm kind of appreciate that, because it's in character. They really write the character, so he's like, yeah, this is a dude who rationally would never, he's like, if life is worthless, if you said my life is like completely worthless, then why would I even bother? Why would I even bother buying more time if I didn't have anything to live for? And he gained something to live for by doing this. It's kind of like it's kind of bravery in a way, because it's like he has, it's kind of brave in a way, because he has this, he faces death with like open arms at all times, but sometimes it's like, he faces it with opener arms. It's all the time. He never like says, oh, I don't want to die. He never says that. He always, like, from the beginning, he accepts it, which is like, yeah. The main thing is like he kind of wants something, from it. I don't know what to say. There's just one part in the last part of the book when I don't want to spoil that part, but he's like, there's this one part where he starts drawing again, because he quit a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but like 3 years before the book. 3 years before the book. Okay. think he's like 20. I think he's like 17 at the time. He quit. He starts drawing again, and you know they have this part where he draws like completely furiously, becomes this fucking madman. He becomes fucking Picasso in his prime. Who's the artist that was like really just like prolific? He becomes fucking Buckethead. I don't know. Becomes Little B, makes a mixtape in every 3 hours. He becomes like extremely like thing artist. He just like becomes amazing because he's in his like he's about to die. So he naturally channels literally everything he has emotionally to the depths of his gut. And he will never receive any questions about it because he's going to die and he's going to be a massive artist because art collectors love collecting people's shit after they die because that's art. It's kind of like there's kind of a commentary on art in a way, but I think the main thing is that there's like this paragraph about him just like, you know, he used to have this qualm with art. He couldn't draw because he wanted to appeal to everybody. He couldn't. He had this issue. He's anxious. He couldn't appeal to everybody. But you know, since he had no reservations about doing anything anymore, since he was about to die, he just drew from the bottom of his like soul, you know. And it's because of his connection with Miyagi, this person that he like, the only person he's ever loved truly, like the only person he's ever like connected with, which like confirmed both sides, yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. A lot of this book's parts are beautiful. I think there's this one part where they're just sitting under a bridge, or sitting on a bridge, and they're watching the stars, and they describe it in like such a vivid way, which like, you know, you can imagine it, but you can never feel, unless you're down there, you can never feel how vast the stars shone. And there's one part where they're just going in the fireflies, and you know they kind of ask like, you know, you ever wonder why they call it fireflies? Just have like really idle conversations about stuff. The way they like the conversations warm up over time, like I was kind of worried over time because like there's no way that like they're that happy in the situation. It becomes like because it feels unnatural sometimes, but like not in a bad way. It feels like unnatural. It's like because it feels unnatural because they're actually getting like pure joy, you know, for the first time, and it's not gonna be long lasting. But they really just get pure, unfiltered, just joy from just existing. This is one like part where she was like, you know, one of our clients, because she's you know, she's the monitor, right? One of the clients she got was all they wanted to do with their last days as a living being was ride in the back of a pickup truck and just like look at the sun, look at the sky for like a month, and the characters imagine it and they think that's, you know, kind of a humble way to live, a humble way to die. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, a simple piece. That's the main thing about it. It's just a simple piece. And a lot of the things are like, a lot of the imagery of that, you know, a lot of the things, like just a simple piece, you know what I mean? I wish I had like more dense stuff to say. I don't like have it. There's this, yeah, I just don't want to spoil much. I could have, one day I'll have like a conversation with somebody and just have like a really just like go into the fucking book, just spoil the shit out of it. I think I spoiled enough, which makes me kind of sad. But I hope that like, cause I really cannot explain enough how much this book thing. One day I might make like a very thing more video, you know. I don't know. Maybe I should read the manga. I really feel like the book. Gotta read the book because it has like, I don't know. Because there was the manga, but I feel like in this case, I feel like the book would be better. I think the main thing about it is that what's the word? If the manga has like the visuals that you the main thing is that I like is that you have to imagine the visuals with the book. And that kind of makes a lot of it like hit more. Cuz if you see like a visual of him like of Miyagi, you don't have like that thing of imagining her, which comes back later on in the book. I won't explain how. But imagining her kind of like as this figure that you have to physically do yourself, like adds on to the like immersion in a way. I don't know. You can do whatever you want, but I think it just yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here. I don't think I even like scratched the surface, and I also don't think I even said anything of value. I just had a lot. I just wanted to. I just really just felt a lot about this. I think I never even got the chance to explain. I never actually explained. I think the main thing about it, all right, that really touched me emotionally is that the feeling of hopelessness. We always have the feeling of hopelessness as a main theme. And I think in like the deepest desires, at least in my perspective, is that want for love and acceptance and for human connection and that grasp for like, not even meaning, but just like acceptance of it all, because they don't really come to a conclusion. The conclusion they really come to is that like, yeah, it's like you love. That's really the will make your life meaningful, even if it is a tragic thing. I do think that's kind of a beautiful message, no matter what. And they make it like because there's so many fucking love songs out there. There's so many fucking things that deal with love that a lot of it can feel shallow and forced and typical and cliche and all that shit. But this, the way they do it here just makes it feel like you really just like makes you want to love something more, and that's something that's like a message that is that's important to love something. I think that's like I think that's I don't know. Just keep rambling on. I think that's a very important message to have, to love something, to love someone, to do something. And I think a lot of things is like, and the one more thing about this book is that like a lot of the reasons he did have these like shallow human connections was that he didn't really like, he one, didn't think he deserved them. Two, he didn't really like, he kind of like didn't really like these people over a certain point even. And three, he didn't keep up with the connections that he had. He didn't really like, I mean, a lot of it was just unlucky, but some of the ones he did have, he didn't really keep up with them, and I think it's a lesson anyone can take there, it is, because I know, like, personally, I've had like things where I just don't want to talk to anybody. I don't know why. I just have this thing where I just want to go hermit mode, but it is important to talk to some people and important to like communicate and have friends and shit, because we're social creatures, and it kind of hurts sometimes, but I think at the end of the day, it's really important to, no matter what, keep doing it, and it's got to be a lesson I got to learn over time. All these, like, a lot of the stuff in this book is really just like eternal stuff that people will be struggling with over their entire lifetime, and I think that like I think especially the want to, because like obviously when you're reading like romantic fiction and you're like, man, I really want to love somebody like that, it gets to you, it gets to you almost like, shit, I really want to have that kind of like thing. And if you see something as healthy and see something as thing, you're like, it's kind of like, oh man, I want to put that in my relationship, so that's influential in a way too. I do want to love somebody like that. I think that's a very important thing to have. Love and affection. Not even like attraction, but affection. Just like being able to like exist near somebody and they like understand, they get it. That's the main thing. They understand each other. That's how like how the most of the thing happened, where they're just like, they don't even like, he's like even early on in the book, he's like, yeah, she's attractive. She's literally my type, right? Like, okay, but I don't. He would never. He literally says I would never ever consider her for a relationship. And then, as like, the main thing is that they kind of like share experiences. I think similar values. That's a lot of like the most important basis there. If you don't really believe in the same like basis of beliefs, not even like a religious way, like in the same like in the base instinct, what actions way, I guess. If you don't like, I don't know, if you know what I mean. That's kind of the main thing there. I don't know. Something about it just really just like, I don't know, something about it just got to me. And his views of like seeing everything just like change, and he kind of stayed the same. It's always a constant worry. You're not changing enough. You're stagnating. Very, But yeah, I don't think this is a very amazing ad for the book, but it's not. It's an ad for the book. So it'll be this will be my fucking thing for the book, and my like experience with the book. And I kind of wish I could talk about it more. I wish I had like. I never feel like I like ever have enough words to say about some of these things that really touch me. And I don't know. It's hard to do a non-spoiler review, but you also kind of have to in a way, because doing a spoiler review is just like it's bad, because people who haven't read it will take that review and they're like, oh, I guess I don't need they won't get the full experience of reading the thing. So yeah. In conclusion, please read this fucking book. Please read the manga if you have to. But I recommend the book because it's the one I read. And I think it's the original version. So I feel like in that case you probably want to do it for like the author's intent, But do what you got to do. It's not even that long of a book, but I really just recommend reading the book, because on a base instinct level, it just made me feel something, and I really think that's important. And not important, just like feeling things, but I mean, like, I think the book's important to me. So yeah, I think it's just like I felt a lot of stuff. That's my gist of it. Okay, so please read it. And have a good day, I guess. Thank you. Oh yeah, by the way, while I was reading the book, I listened to this album. I listened to a bunch of this albums, but there's like this playlist that kind of searches just dark jazz albums, right? And it actually fit pretty well to some of the stuff that went on. So Bohren and Der Club of Gore, BOHRN, ampersand Der, DER, Club of Gore. That's what I listen to, like that band or whatever. And a lot of that stuff fits. So if you do read it, it's pretty good music to listen to with it. If you do listen to music while reading. Anyway, that's all I have to say, really. I don't know. I'm gonna go think about it, and it's really powerful. It's a really powerful book, so I'm gonna go think about it, and fucking cry or something. I'm probably gonna watch videos on it and see what I did wrong, because this is already like 50 minutes of me rambling about it, so it's obviously I didn't do something right in terms of being concise, but I had a lot to say. So yeah. Anyway, good whatever the time is near you, and see you around. Bye.